Mexico is a land of stunning beauty and warm culture. People flock to it because of its incredible beaches and historical sites. The beauty of Mexico, though, hides an amazing secret, and that is that Mexico, our neighbor just to the south, has a persecution problem. It's not a small problem either. Christian Solidarity and International Christian Concern, working on this issue, estimate that there are at least 70 open cases of religious persecution in 5 different states. Most of these cases are in the states of Chiapas, Oaxaca, and Hidalgo. Now, each of these cases involve groups of 20 to 100 Christians, and that means that at least 5,000 Christians have been affected, all of it completely hidden and right under the nose of the Western Church. Christianity has grown significantly in Mexico over the last few decades, especially among Mexico's indigenous population. These people suffer discrimination and oppression and typically live as second-class citizens. Now, when indigenous Christians find Christ, they discover that they are the equal of any man and they're the children of the King rather than subhuman. After coming to Christ, though, they reach a cultural crossroads. The communities they live in force them to be involved in village festivals that usually involve heavy drinking, sexual immorality, and even elements associated with Santa Muerte, a satanic practice. The Christian's conscience won't allow them to be involved with these festivals, and for good reason. The Vatican itself has declared Santa Muerte to be blasphemous, urging Mexican Catholics to flee any association with it. The villages also typically have a witch doctor, known as a brujo, involved in satanic activity and Santa Muerte. And typically he's an important figure in the village, and the Christians stop visiting him when they find Christ. This threatens the power structure of the village. Now, as the Christians withdraw from these aspects of village life, village elders typically start to react with threats to get the Christians to conform. They demand thousands of dollars from the Christians to support the festivals, even though the Christians cannot in good conscience support them. When that doesn't work, they then resort to violence and forced expulsion and confiscation of their homes and land. Incredibly, when the Christians turn to the government for justice, they find that local and state governments either ignore their cases, come up with unconstitutional fixes, or even work with the perpetrators to oppress the victims. All this in a land that has the rule of law and believes in religious freedom. Los Llanos, a village in Chiapas State, expelled 35 Christians back in 2009. Now, in 2013, the Christians attempted to come back to the village. They were attacked along the way, they were stripped naked and forced to march 25 miles back to the village center. And in the village center, they were attacked, beaten, and tortured for the next 15 hours, including 3 elderly ladies. The 3 pastors were repeatedly choked. Pastor Gonzalez was doused with kerosene, and they threatened to light him on fire. In San Juan Ozolatepec in Oaxaca, Mayor Gonzalez closed and chained shut a church in his municipality in 2013. He then had the church bulldozed. In another case in Chiapas, the government's Human Rights Commission forced Christians to agree to contribute to village festivals, not carry Bibles, not assemble together, and not teach their children about their beliefs if they wanted to return home. Here you can see a copy of that agreement. Recently, I personally visited a number of these victims in Chiapas, Mexico. And these folks are from the Los Llanos group that I mentioned previously. There's 11 of these families that were crammed in this homeless shelter, and they've been there for 6 years. Each family lives in a 12 by 12 foot room. And the parents are afraid to let the kids out most of the day because kids are kids, they make a lot of noise, and they're afraid that the neighbors will complain and they may be expelled out onto the streets. So they keep them crammed up in their rooms most of the day. The schools won't educate the kids. They say, well, they're too far behind. They're going to hurt the other kids. So the kids are trapped. And as I sat there and listened to their stories and I watched their kids run around in rags, I was really troubled. I was really burdened. And I thought of my own kids. And so after the meeting, I went to a store, and out of my own pocket, I bought 800 pounds of food and brought it back to them. And I don't tell you that to get your admiration or to receive your applause, but I wanted to put my money where my mouth was and to demonstrate to you that these people are truly deserving and really need your help. So that's the story of persecution in Mexico. It's shocking, isn't it? Now the good news is that Mexico is a country that cares about its reputation where human rights is concerned, and they have the rule of law. So here's what I want you to do. First of all, spread this video around. Most people have no idea that this kind of persecution is happening right in our backyard. Secondly, I want you to call the Mexican embassy and complain to them. Tell them that you are concerned about the treatment of Christians in Chiapas, Mexico. We find that when local officials' inaction or unconstitutional behavior becomes known, that they quickly change their ways.